Good afternoon. We got lucky this time. The last two times Wei Yi and I played here on a recital for me, the weather was cold and snowy. And this time it may be chilly, but we have a beautiful sunny day. Thank you very much for being here this afternoon, and thanks to those who are joining us via the live stream. Today's program is titled Voices of the Americas. And singing through the bassoon has always been a major focus for me, both as a player and teacher, and the vocal approach has often guided me in selecting repertoire for performing and for recording. The first half of this recital contains mostly lyrical works by North American composers. I became fond of Dominic Argento's vocal music during my 27 years as principal bassoon of the New York City Opera. I cobbled together this set of 3 arias from different operas. Each has something to do with the sea, or in the case of the first selection, the Gondolier's Song, the Canals of Venice. It tells the story of a young girl who cannot stay awake while riding in a gondola. Each time she reawakens, the motion of the boat lulls her back into slumber. Then you'll hear The Man with a Paintbox aria, the real jewel of this 3 songs, which Wei Yi and I recorded just a few weeks ago. The opening section of this magical aria is for voice, or in this case, bassoon alone. The man recalls a fantasy from his youth when an imaginary ship sailed out of the sky to anchor just outside his bedroom window. When the piano is first heard, the ship's captain calls the winds and fires the cannons as he beckons the young man aboard. The captain unfurls a flag that just happens to have the same colors as the blanket on the young man's bed. In the rhapsodic middle section, which is it is really haunting, he remembers hearing haunting music from the ship and the ship's crew calling his name. As the music becomes turbulent again, the youngster is compelled to run naked into the ocean, also known as the backyard, hoping that the divers will save him and hoist him aboard. But the fantasy ends abruptly and the music fades away. The man with the paintbox sings, "The Iceman saw me drowning there and laughed my ship away." Too bad. As the aria ends, he heads down to the sea to paint. Finally, you will hear the lute song, about a slender ship accompanied by dolphins and songs of sea nymphs in the merry sunlight. But the song turns strangely dark as on that ship 5 sailors blind, singing a shanty sad and gay, forget the sails, forget the wind, forget the water day by day that seeps into the greening hold, and they forget their captive, starved and cold, chained and drowning below. Have a nice day. I added that part. We then have excerpts from Ezra Latterman's Partita for solo bassoon, written for me and premiered on this stage almost exactly 11 years ago. I also recorded it here. Ezra wrote the 7-movement Partita as a surprise, finishing it on Thanksgiving Day of 2012, informing me that I would premiere it here in February 2013, and that was also a surprise. Studying the Partita throughout the 2012 holiday season was the most wonderful, if unexpected, present. Ezra had been dean when I was invited to join the Yale faculty upon the retirement of my beloved teacher, Stephen Maxim. So I am in my 30th year here, thanks to Ezra. Speaking of anniversaries, June 29 of this year will mark Ezra Latterman's 100th birthday. The 3 movements I have chosen to play today are especially singing in nature, and I play them in his memory. We will end the first half with Jeff Scott's Elegy for Innocence. Jeff was the original horn player of the Imani Winds, and he wrote this for his fellow Imani member, my dear friend and former student, the outstanding bassoonist Monica Ellis. The piece is filled with both gentleness and passion. Wei Yi and I recorded this work just a few weeks ago as well. I am so fortunate to have Wei Yi Yang as my friend, colleague, and collaborator. So we'll be right back with the first half. Thank you.